Hello, welcome. What's the Tea Tuesday? Today we're talking all about transferring from a community college to a four-year institution, or from a four-year institution to another four-year institution, or reverse transferring if you're at a four-year institution and you're going to be coming back to a community college. We have some insight. We have some former students that are with us that are going to talk about their experience transferring from Harper College to their institution of choice. We also have Agnes, who is our transfer coordinator at Harper College, who's going to share some of her insights, some of the best practices for students, and share her knowledge. Also, during our live session, if you have questions, we want you to send those in. We're going to be happy to follow up with you and answer those questions if we didn't cover it in this session. And then Melanie and I will be talking about our experiences as well. So we're so happy that you're with us, and it's going to be a fun section. So to start, we're going to kick things off. Leah, do you want to start?
Sure. So I obviously transferred from Harper College to Carthage College, which is in Kenosha, Wisconsin, actually just early February. Experience has been pretty positive so far. Carthage has its similarities because it's also a smaller school. There are obviously some differences. It's a private school. They have very unique gen eds, but it's been pretty positive so far because I gained a lot of confidence in getting involved at Harper College, so I was able to jump right in at Carthage, so I already have that community and I miss them.
Wonderful. All right, jumping over to Judy.
Well, I transferred from Harper to School of the Art Institute of Chicago out in the Loop. Been there for about a year and a half now. So far it's been a bit different than Harper just because it's an art and design school, not really a overall education like Harper is. But so far it's been pretty cool. Interesting just with a lot of studios, but it's cool so far.
Wonderful. And Maz?
Hi, I transferred to DePaul, the business college, because I do see Sebastian is going to DePaul as well. So it's been it was, first for me personally, it was kind of rocky, but then it kind of smoothed out the end of like the transferring session. But other than that, it was nice. It was somewhat positive.
Okay, great. And we'll get a little bit more into that. Sebastian?
So I transferred to DePaul last year. My transfer experience overall was pretty good. I chose DePaul because of my major, which is public relations and advertising, and it had a really good program. And so far, I enjoyed my experience.
Great. Melanie, share with us your experience.
So, hi everybody, I'm Melanie. I'm the Secretary of Student Involvement and the Administrative Assistant to the Dean of Students. I actually went to Elgin Community College for 2 years, got my associate's degree, and then transferred to two four-year institutions. I started at North Central and I ended up transferring again to Judson University. Overall, the experience was very positive. Like Leah, my new institutions had some unique gen eds that I did have to finish up, even though I had the associate's degree. But otherwise, it was a great experience going to a community college before transferring.
Right. And Agnes, share with us your experience.
Absolutely. So while I'm the transfer coordinator at Harper College now, I was a transfer student myself. I started at Harper College and I transferred to Northern Illinois University. I was there for a year and then transferred on to another four-year UIC. And my transition from Harper to both schools was very smooth. I got my associate's degree, everything transferred. I got the credit that I earned. My transfer from Northern to UIC was super bumpy. I was the exact same major and I basically lost the whole year. So so that was a little rough. It was, you know, now looking back, now that I'm all done with school, it was a good learning experience, but as a student, it was really frustrating. So I kind of seen the good and the bad in transfer.
Absolutely. And for all of you, I went straight to a four-year institution, and I'll just share today when we get into things a little bit about what it was like being a student at a four-year institution and having transfer students come in and what that look like, especially from an involvement lens. But as you can all see, we've got some form of gear on. I'm rocking, I went to Eastern, so I'm rocking some old school, what was cool back in the day, but I had to pull this out of the closet because this was what was very popular. So I don't understand why it's not still trending, but if you see me walking around, yeah, I'm repping. So get started. We'll cheers to what's the tea Tuesday.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh. All right, enough of that. All right, so to get started, talk to us a little bit about the things that you were nervous about when you were transferring. So before you had transferred, what were some of those concerns that you had? And what of those concerns, what ended up being valid concerns? And what were some things that you were just worried about that weren't really things that you needed to be concerned about?
Say something. I was definitely worried about how much of my credits would actually transfer over to my school. Because I did graduate Harper with the associate's degree, but going into SAIC, it was definitely questionable of whether they would actually accept all of those credits and introduce it as one of their classes as well. So that was a bit iffy on their end. Not all of my credits got transferred, but the majority of it did. So I still ended up with about 2 years left, so it wasn't too bad. But other than that, credits was questionable.
Yeah, Agnes, share with us some things that students can do to alleviate those fears, because that's a very valid concern.
Oh, absolutely. And now I'm really actually glad to hear, because your school is so specialized. Anytime you run into a specialized school, whether it's an art school or an engineering school, you always have to be a little bit more cautious because their curriculum is so different. We now have an actual agreement with the School of the Art Institute. But that's been around maybe for like a year, 2 years, so maybe something that you weren't in under, and it's only for certain degrees. But to answer your question, I think the earlier a student knows where they're going to go, the better. Now, that isn't always possible. I mean, look at me. I went to one school, then I switched to another one. But the earlier you know, the more you can start to gear up. So you can get in touch with that other school, start talking to them, start mapping out the courses you're wanting to take. Even if you're kind of caught between two schools, you can say, okay, if I go here or if I go here, and start planning. So I think the earlier you know, the better. And then just definitely talking to the four-year school. My whole job is getting transfer information for students, and the minute I know it, something could change, right? And then it's not valid anymore. So you have to talk to the four-year school. So knowing early, getting in touch early is crucial.
That's great information. Go ahead, Leah.
Going off that, for most of my time at Harper, I thought that I was going to be going to U of I, and so my advisor helped build my classes around like satisfying the U of I gen eds.
Right.
So if I were to go to U of I, then I would have been completely finished with my gen eds. But surprisingly, I chose another institution, a private institution, and they had their own gen eds. So that was my struggle, and I was worried about not being able to graduate in 2 years. But I actually figured it out with my advisors at my new school, and I'm able to graduate and with a minor in the 2 years that I was expecting. So there's no need for me to worry at all.
That's good. That's good to hear. I think in Illinois, we have the Illinois Articulation Agreement that most schools in Illinois are in, and that covers a lot of gen ed. It doesn't cover, mission specific. Any religious institution obviously has their own mission specific courses, but it covers most gen eds. Unfortunately, that doesn't go across state lines. So, if you're going to an out-of-state school, that's not going to cover it. But yeah, no, I'm glad to hear that things went as smoothly as they did.
I think for me personally, again, I would like same as Leah and Judy said, I was kind of worried about my credits transferring over, and that's where I had the most trouble in, is my credits transferring over, because there was a weird process. Something happened and they're like, oh yeah, you didn't take 5 of these classes. I was like, no, I took them. So like I had to retake some of those classes to find out only at the end that they weren't necessary, that they transferred over. So like I kind of wasted my money and my time in that sense. And I didn't really appreciate that from like DePaul's end either. But it was like kind of like too late. So I'd added like one more year to my education. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. But that was like my bumpy road towards it. But after that, I kind of figured out how to like navigate the system in a way.
Right.
Yeah, there was also some fighting for me when I was transferring. I was looking over my degree audit and it was like, you need a normal psych. I was like, wait a minute, I took that. So I contacted the department chair of the psychology department, and turns out all I needed to do was request some syllabi, and he ended up approving them. So
That's really good to hear. That happened to me too. Again, I was the same major at both my four-year schools, and I took a research methods course at one. The other one wouldn't approve it, and I kind of just said okay, and I retook it. I think knowing now what I know, I would have fought much harder, gotten a syllabus, talked to the, the dean or whatever. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is still true. You kind of have to speak up for yourself, try to talk to people, show proof, show syllabus, things like that, to get that credit, which again is unfortunate, but true.
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian, anything's for you?
Well, definitely the credit part. Fortunately, like I didn't know which institution I wanted to transfer to first, but then I finally chose DePaul. So then I looked at the courses that would transfer to Harper and courses that are required for a communications degree under the College of Communication. So I did like a majority of those courses at Harper, and fortunately, I didn't have to do any general education. So I'm doing all my major classes, which is nice. But a big concern was making sure the program was a fit for me. So while I was checking at different institutions, I checked their communications program to see what kind of classes they were. So I think that's like really important in choosing a school, to make sure that the classes at that institution fit what you want to do in your career. And basically DePaul with its PR program, it's like what I wanted, so.
Great.
And to Sebastian's point, that's why I ended up transferring between 2 4-years, was the difference between the two programs. And at the time I had wished I had done more research. So good for you for really looking into it.
Yeah, for sure. Totally same story. I didn't do enough research, and that's why I ended up going from one 4-year to another, because it just was a better fit.
Mm-hmm.
So Agnes, is there any other things that students can do early on to set themselves up for success when transferring?
Well, I think we've definitely hit it here. Visit. So a lot of transfer students, it seems like from my experience that freshmen tend to visit a lot more. It's a big deal, right? Those college visit days in high school. By the time students become transfer students, they kind of have an idea, or they're like, just like you said, I've done this, I've been here, I know what I'm doing, I've been to college. And so sometimes transfer students don't visit enough, don't research enough, get to where they're going, and they think, well, it's only going to be 2 years, it's no big deal. But if it's not the right fit, it's not the right fit. And even if you're there for 2 years, you don't want to be unhappy. So yeah, for sure, I can't stress it enough. I mean, I know, these days we have virtual visits and tours and things like that. So any way you can do it, just to see, again, is that a good fit? Is the program what I'm looking for sure.
Excellent. So I know some of you, but I know you were all involved while you were at Harper in student organizations and clubs. How has that experience helped you at your new institution?
So for me, at least, I feel like almost all of us were in SAB. I think in some way, certain activities board. For me, SAB really pushed me to become the leader in a way I am today, because in my classes I do see I'm more in a leading position or leading role, and I'm seeing those qualities in like everyone. So it kind of really helped me just like navigate, because I am a management major, so it kind of helped me navigate my leadership skills in a way to like improve them and keep honing them.
For me, SAB like really helped me find my major. First, like I wanted to do event planning, but then I kind of wanted to do the PR part after being like in the communications chair of SAB for a while. And then that's kind of how SAP helped me. And like also working with group members in classes. Like last quarter, I had like 4 group projects, I believe. And then it's just like managing all of them and like keeping everyone up to date and like organized. Like the skills I learned at SAP really helped me with these courses. So.
Excellent. Excellent.
Well, I can speak from the 4-year experience in understanding that as a very involved student in a 4-year institution, I think that was probably one of the easy ways that I could see transfer students really getting involved and using your past involvement experience. You kind of have a framework of what things look like and know that people are excited to have you there. I think it can be challenging if you're not really ready to step outside of your comfort zone or your bubble. And being in a new institution can be challenging. It can be hard to make friends, but know that there are people there who want you to be there, who are looking to be friends with you. And I think joining and getting involved in clubs and organizations at your new institution is a great way if you're struggling to build friends, to kind of meet people who are interested in having friends with you or being friends with you.
I know for a fact that had I transferred to my 4-year institution right away, I would not have gotten involved. But here I've been here for like a month before we went online, and I'm already involved in all these clubs. I already have a job. My experience in student involvement at Harper got me a position in student involvement at Carthage. So so getting all my involvement in Harper has completely changed like my approach at Carthage. So I really appreciate it.
Okay. I was in SAB as well. I was the marketing head. So I was doing all the promotional and marketing. That has helped me go here at this school too. I have been able to put some of the pieces that I've made at Harper in my portfolio at this school. So that's a big plus for me. But it's definitely given me like a little bit of an insight as to what students are actually looking for, like what catches their eye for me. And it's actually pushed me to be a little bit more open. I actually joined a club for their graphic design over at that school. So it's pushed me out of my boundaries a bit.
Wonderful.
I would say.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I would say the same. There's the PRSSA, which is like the Public Relations Club at DePaul. Like it's a chapter at DePaul, but there's like a chapter nationwide, like different colleges. And like being in SAP, like kind of helped me like look into being in that club as well. So like I've been able to attend their meetings and then just like meet new people. And what's nice is that like those people in the club, they're usually in like my other classes as well. So it's kind of like you see them on a daily basis. So, and then the professors as well.
Excellent.
So I want to know, what advice do you have for upcoming transfer students? What would you tell someone who's getting ready to transfer?
It's not the same.
Also, tell us more.
I feel like, at least for me, DePaul is like completely different than Harper or any other community college in a sense, because it is a 4-year university. So like the diversity in the age group that you don't see as much. They're all students like around your age. So, and since at DePaul has 2 campuses, so for me, I think I'm usually in the Loop campus, which is more business and communications and law. It's more of a city-based campus, so everybody's on like the go. Like everybody's like, oh, I got an internship here. Oh, I got to do this business over here. And then you go to like the Lincoln Park campus. It's a totally different environment. Students are like studying and like talking to each other and more interactive in that sense. At least for me. I don't know about Sebastian's experience on that.
I would agree. I feel like everyone's just like on like a deadline in a way at the Loop campus downtown, but Lincoln Park, everything's like more calm because you're surrounded by trees, and then you got like the library and then the gym and then the student center, the main one, and then there's like usually events there. So it's more like a relaxed part of the campus, but then downtown's more like get down to business kind of thing. So
My advice would be to connect with the school that you're interested in as much as possible before you transfer. Like, do your research, find out everything you need to know, because you don't want any surprises after you transfer, because then it's too late. And that's how you're going to know that it's the right fit, and it'll maximize your experience.
Judy?
Probably just be really open, like keep an open mind about it, like the entire experience. If you go in with like already a bad feeling about it, like sometimes you just gotta trust your gut and see what the other options. But if you're open about it, you can actually see what you're getting yourself into, which is nice. But just keep an open mind. Don't go in if you think it's a bad choice.
Melanie?
My advice would be, same as Leah, do your research. I was one who ended up transferring again because I didn't, do as much research as I probably should have. So yeah, I would say get to know the school, reach out to people at the school, reach out to the department, see if they can connect you with a current student to talk to, and just really know what to expect when you do transfer.
And Agnes, what tips, advice, best practices do you have for students and what they should know before, best practices in terms of transferring?
I want to echo what everyone said: research, visit, and connect for sure. Sometimes I meet with students and I tell them, make sure you talk to the four-year school. And then I meet with them again. I say, hey, have you connected? And oh, not yet. I'm really busy. And I know we're all obviously super busy, but definitely connect, research, get in touch with the department that you're thinking about transferring into, or the college, the program. See if you're still at Harper, work with your advisor. Our advisors are all trained on transfer, and they will get you lots of information, and they'll help you connect if you can't find someone to talk to at the four-year school. But yeah, research, connect, visit, and plan ahead.
And Agnes, if a student has maybe a specific question regarding transferring or is looking for advice and they're not sure which institution to transfer to, they're kind of stuck between options, what should they do?
They definitely can start with their advisor. They can talk to them and ask them. If the advisor doesn't know the answer, they'll usually reach out to me. They can connect the student directly to me, or they'll reach out to the four-year school. So yeah, start with your advisor. They definitely know a lot.
Wonderful. And as we wrap up, can you all share for our students that are former students, once a hawk, always a hawk, but tell us something that you miss about Harper?
Student community. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sebastian, we'll start with you.
Yeah, definitely like student involvement and just like sense of community and just being around people like that are close every day. So, and the commute.
Great, and I appreciate the student involvement plug. Great, Maz.
Yeah, just the community. I feel like I don't feel like I love Harper. Like I feel like it's majority because of you, Erin. I'll be completely honest, but I just love Harper in a sense of like the community is a very like close knit in a sense of like they want to help you succeed. Like you can go up to any professor or any faculty member, and everybody's very, very willing to be like, do you need help? I got you. I can point you to the right direction. So that's something I really miss. And then just like everybody here, I really miss.
Well, we've missed you too. Judy.
Definitely student involvement. That was a big part of my 3 years at Harper, actually. Just like all the support and encouragement Harper gives to its students.
And Leah?
I would love to say something unique, but it is the community. That's what I love most about Harper. That's what really maximized my experience. And I don't have that yet at Carthage. I really miss like walking through the hallways, and it was just a deeper connection within the Harper community. Everyone was there for each other and supporting each other.
Well, the best thing of all is that when students transfer, when they come back to visit us, that just, I know, makes all of our days. And so seeing all of you today via Zoom is such a wonderful treat for us. And we appreciate your time. Agnes, thank you so much for joining us. And Melanie, we will be again here to answer your questions. If you have things that we didn't cover, please reach out to us and we will be happy to answer them for you. So thank you all so much for joining us. We appreciate you and your time and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.